Hello everyone, my name is Valshan, also known as James in-game, and today I wanted to talk about a specific player who has not been very good at at being a team player. So first off, I know you guys are gonna say I'm complaining. This is not a complaint video. This is me trying to make sure that you guys are aware of this type of player. So to start off, let's start with a little backstory. Now, before we get into the backstory, this backstory is 100% my fault for having very bad, poor judgment. But it leads into kind of what this guy's about. So, this guy, his name is Asmeowdeus. And whenever I quit, I had put my trust into this guy named Holy Beef. Holy Beefs. He was really solid. He was always helping people. He was taking time out of his day to craft gear, all this stuff. Was a really just upstanding member of the guild and everything that we're about, which we are about helping new, returning, and veteran players. But whenever I quit, I gave the guild to him. I sold off basically all of my donor items and used that gold. I put it into the bank. I got 2 guild slots and then put in about 1,000 gold into the guild bank. So I told Holy Beefs whenever I was leaving that if he wanted out, if he needed anything, to just message me on Discord. And I would come back, I would take back over the guild, and I would run the guild without blaying or anything like that since I was quitting Ascension. And I had no problem with that, and he was cool with it. And so I wake up later on, about 2-3 days later, and I have some messages from some guildies that this guy is just booting everybody out of the guild. I assume that it's Holy Beefs. And Holy Beefs apparently had given the guild to some random guy that had just joined the guild. Who then proceeded to boot me out of the guild, said, let this be a warning. And then about a half an hour later, booted everybody else out of the guild, stole the money and the items out of the guild bank, and then disbanded the guild. Which is why we are now and the Giant Peach is, and not Giant Peach, like we were. So we had to remake the guild, everything like that. Now this is a guild matter, so GMs can't do anything about it, which is fine. So I find out that this guy is... I heard that he's also ninja looting items from dungeons, but that was from, like, one person, so take that with a grain of salt. So I get a message today on Discord that this guy had logged in. So I logged in, I messaged him, and was just like, hey, like, I just want to know why you did what you did. And, like, were you part of, like, the YouTube hate that I was getting after I quit? Like, what was the actual reason? And, basically he was acting all confused. I told him, you took over the guild, you took the 1,000 gold, and booted everybody out. And he's like, well, I definitely didn't. I was like, I actually have a screenshot though. And he's like, oh yeah, dude, you quit the game. I was like, yes, I did. I don't, I'm not super worried about like getting the gold back or anything like that. Like, I mean, if you wanted to give me the gold back, that's cool. Like, you give me 150 gold, I'll call it even, man. Like, I'm cool with that. And, it was like the gold was in there for, everyone's repairs for the guild. And, it was like whenever you're kind of given somebody's guild, it's not really for you to just kind of disband. Like, it's kind of a kick everybody and then disband is kind of a jerk move, He's like, well, you can just get GMs involved. I was like, I don't want to get GMs involved. It's a guild matter. They can't do anything anyway. Like, I just want to know the reasoning that you had done that. I'm like, I assume you disbanded the guild. He said, yep. I said, okay. So what was the reasoning? And he's like, I was the GM. Somehow. I was like, okay. I was like, let me explain what had happened. I said I gave the guild to Holy Beefs, told him that if he needed anything or just wanted out to let me know, and I would log back in and take over the guild, and then, and just play till either I found somebody else to take control or I would just keep running it myself. And then he gives it to you for some reason, and you decided to, screw over everyone. And he's like, well, that's not how the game works. You abandoned the guild, half the officers left. I never gave anybody officer. He's like, and none of this is my fault. Like, well, it kind of is. Like, the majority of everything falls onto me 100% for having poor judgment in who I gave the guild to. All of that 1000% falls on me. But, you got given guild lead and you knew that there was a bunch of gold in there and you still decided to screw over everybody else that was in the guild. I was like, so for real, like, all I want is for you to explain yourself for, kicking everybody and just kind of being a little immature about it. And he was like, well, I was just memeing with friends in Discord. I was like, okay, that's fine. And he was like, well, I'll give you back the 150 gold, but he's like, but I have a couple of conditions to do that. I was like, okay. Like, you want to make it even, I'm down. He's like, well, first off, how can I trust you won't rat me out to a GM after I give you the 150 gold? I was like, because, I don't know, I'm a kind person. Like, not a rat, I don't know. Plus, it's Ascension, it's a guild matter. GMs won't do anything about it anyway. He's like, admit that it's completely your fault. You abandoned your guild and forfeited everything in the guild bank. I was like, okay, absolutely. Most of this is my fault for having, poor judgment in the guild lead that I gave. And he's like, you have zero proof that I stole anything from the guild bank, items or money. You were just assuming... Oh, hold on. That thing messed up. You were just assuming off of a troll message in guild chat that someone sent you. I was like, but true, with the guild being disbanded, it's clear that those items, because of you, are gone. And he says, even if I did steal that stuff, I would have every right to because I was the guild master. I said, that's 100% true. I'm like, it's more so about the fact that you just kind of screwed over everybody else in the guild over that. And he's like, well, you can ask a game master to restore your items after this. You may come out ahead. And at that point, I was like, you know what? I got all the information that I need. Like, he was just being a kid, being a teenager. I'm assuming probably 15, 16 to think that booting people out of a guild is funny, for whatever reason. But yeah, again, all of this falls back onto me. And no, I'm not being a snowflake this time. I know, I don't remember the guy's name. I don't remember the guy's name who commented that, but that's a shout out to you, my guy. You know who you are. This is literally just me being, this is the kind of person to watch out for. Again, his name is Asmeowdeus, and he's a jerk. And apparently does ninja looting, like just needs on everything in a dungeon. But again, that's definitely a hearsay. I've only heard one person tell me that, so I don't know. But yeah, just keep an eye out for him. And there you go. Be safe out there, and be excellent to each other. Goodbye.